Hey everybody, Josh Runquist here for the Heavy Debriefings YouTube channel for another edition of Out Today and What I Missed. This is the last week of June for June 28th, 2024, and I have 13 brand new albums to check out. 9 that are out today, 4 I missed along the way. Let's get into it. First up, we have Crystal Viper with the Silver Key. This is the 9th album from this Polish power metal band, and I gotta say, Poland has been putting out some pretty great power metal in 2024, and this is no exception. The band has found its niche over the years, and they really know how to go in all guns blazing and know when to turn things down a notch and make it a bit more emotional. This is a perfect example of what the band is best at with brand new material. It captures everything from the past, but just refined enough. And of course, having that great feeling of that 80s all the way to 2024 feeling all the way behind it. If you're looking for some classic but authentic power metal made in 2024, Crystal Viper is the band for you. Next up, we have Drift Into Black with Voices Beneath the Rubble. This is the 5th album from this East Coast gothic metal band, and it incorporates so much of what I love about the gothic doom and melodic doom genre. There's really no screams or growls on here, just very emotional cleans going on, with some really dark lyrical content, basically about how we're destroying the world. And with this nice cheery album that we got here, of course the music matches all on top of that with some of the darkest rooted doom metal that you're gonna hear in 2024. Drift Into Black really nailed it out of the park once again, and it only gets better with repeat listens. Go ahead and check it out and see what I mean. It's not the easiest listen, especially lyrically, but it's a cathartic one. Next up, we have The Eternal with Skinwalker, and this is a band that's pretty much brand new to me, and it really shouldn't be considering who's in the band. This is 7 albums into this Australian gothic dooms band, but it also features past and present members of Amorphis, with other members of Amorphis doing some guest spots along the way. This has some of the best clean vocals you're gonna hear in doom metal. It's got that great melancholy but melodic sound to it, excellent production and songwriting, everything that I love about the gothic / melodic doom genre. And I'm again surprised I've never heard this band before, but now I have 6 more albums to go back to and enjoy as well. But I really love what I'm hearing with Skinwalker, and if you're looking for something of that melodic doom gothic style, this is an album you need to check out. Next up is Lambonic Art with Opus Demoniacal. 9 albums in, over 3 decades, and Demon still feels like he's doing everything he can to keep that spirit of 90s black metal and symphonic black metal going strong. This is everything that I love about that 90s black metal style, except with one huge exception. The production actually works. It doesn't sound terrible. It sounds right as it should. And it's also some very catchy black metal as well. It's got everything that I'm looking for in this style, with fantastic songwriting, feeling dark and evil, and just everything that I've ever known Lambonic Art to ever be about. This is not just a play on words, this really does feel like his magnum opus. And if you like that 90s black metal sound, check it out and see if you agree. Next up is the debut album from the band The Mourning with Hush. This thematic album really captures a lot of great US-based prog metal with a lot of great European dark progressive metal at the same time. You'll hear moments of bands like Coheed and Cambria as much as you'll hear a band like Haken or Pain of Salvation. Add a little Rush in there, and I think you have a very unique sounding prog rock, prog metal album in 2024. Of course, it's very dark, but it's a very cathartic and uplifting album, especially when you get towards the end. It's something a lot of people would be able to relate to the more that you start to pay attention to the lyrics and see what it's really all about. While this isn't a cure for emotional feelings that you might be feeling to it, it's good to have something that feels very relatable and can really hit at home. Yeah, this is just a straight up prog album, no bones about it. Great prog rock, great prog metal. If that's what you're looking for, check out The Mourning. Next up is the debut album from Sabar with Jet. This is another Australian band, but this time going more into the revival metal sound, that classic heavy metal, new wave of British heavy metal sound. And it also lives up to its contemporaries as well too. The way I think of it is, imagine a mix-up of Wasp, Night Demon, and Diamond Head all mixed together to create a dark revival metal album. That's exactly what it sounds like. It sounds like one of the best 80s albums that never came out in the 80s and waited till 2024. While this doesn't reinvent the wheel for what revival metal is, it doesn't need to. It's just that classic fun style, whether it's going all guns blazing or taking things down a peg. It's got everything that I'm looking for in this style, and that's all I really need. And if you like revival metal like I do, you'll want to check this one out. Next Next up is Shade of Sorrow with Upon the Fields of Grief. This is a debut album from a Finnish musician known as Mika Kekkonen, and this made my jaw drop. This is my kind of melodic death metal with just the right amount of catchy moments that almost feels power metal-esque. Kind of the best way I can describe it is if a Monomarth had balls. Also match that up with some styles of Wolfheart, Insomnium, and Nyctophobia, and you got one of the most memorable melodic death metal albums of 2024. And the fact that Mika does everything on this album from recording to production is just stellar. It may go under the radar, but I'm hoping with a review like this, more people will be turned on to it. I can't wait to see what the sophomore LP is all about, but until then, check out some very dark, very catchy, and perfect melodic death metal from Shade of Sorrow. Next up is Shumon with Opposing Mirrors. This is a North American prog band that I'm just getting familiar with on this album, and wow, what a lineup of musicians this is, especially the guest drummers that they have on here, from Thomas Lang to Marco Miniman to Leo Marguerite of Pain of Salvation. Just those three alone makes for some mesmerizing drumming displays on here, but that does not say the rest of the band doesn't have some killer stuff behind it. This reminds me so much of that early to mid 2000s feel of bands like Fate's Warning and Porcupine Tree, where it is very proggy, but there's not a lot of wank to it. It's very straight ahead, it does have some odd time signatures, and the band knows when to show off, but it's not just about that. The songs come first. Match that up with some fantastic songwriting and production, and you have one killer prog album. Go check this one out if you're looking for a bit of a throwback in 2024. And finally, for brand new stuff out today, I have the band Wraith with Fueled by Fire. It's been an incredible year for the black and roll, black and speed metal genres, and Wraith is again no exception to any of that. Another album that doesn't reinvent the wheel, but for something like black and roll and black and speed metal, I wouldn't want them to reinvent the wheel. It has that style, and that's what I love about it. For anyone who enjoys the likes of Midnight or Hellripper or Sadistic Force, this is just all kills, no thrills. All 46 minutes of this is completely solid and just everything that you're looking for in this style. While many people might not be talking about this one, give this one a shot. It really is one of the better albums of the genre in 2024. And now for some stuff I missed along the way, starting off with the band Blazing Eternity with A Certain End of Everything. This comes out 21 years after their sophomore album. The band has come back with this comeback album, making easily the best work of their entire career. This is the perfect blend of melodic death metal, a little bit of black metal into it, but more importantly, more than anything, the gothic metal sound that they created. When they focus on the melodic death and the melodic black moments of this album, it's very harkens back to that early 2000s, late 90s sound of the melodic death metal, melodic black metal sounds. But when they add in the gothic metal moments, that's what seals the deal on this album and makes it one of the best albums of 2024. They know when to go dark and evil, they know when to create some very sorrowful and beautiful melodic moments as well. This has really gone under the radar, and I wish I would have caught on to it sooner. You need to check it out for yourself as well. Seriously, check out Blazing Eternity. Next up is Inherits the Void with Scars of Yesteryear. You know, it only feels like last year when I covered their sophomore album, and wouldn't you know it, it has been a year. Inherits the Void has put out 3 albums over the course of the last 4 years, and each one somehow keeps getting more refined and more polished than the next. This is an excellent blend of melodic black metal, mellow black, and some In Flames influence in there as well, so it has that early day Swedish melodic death metal sound going on as well. Combining all of that combined, you get one of the most unique black metal albums of 2024, and this one-man project just continues to be some of the best in the genre. Everything from the production to the songwriting, everything that you're looking for in this particular style is done here in spades, and Inherits the Void just keeps getting better and better. If you don't believe me, check out Scars of Yesteryear. Up next is Neaera with All Is Dust. And when this band came back with their self-titled album just a couple weeks before the pandemic started, everything seemed like it was going in the right direction. But then the pandemic happened, and Neaera returned to create their heaviest, darkest album to date. This really does feel like a post-pandemic album because everything that you hear, from the brutal breakdowns to the very emotionally driven lyrics and songwriting composition to moments that almost sound like black black metal in this melodic death metal and metalcore band you would never expect, but it fits the music so perfectly because it does feel like we are in the end times, and soon we all will just be dust. But until then, this feels like a really good soundtrack for 2024, even though that might not be the most shining example. It really is a cathartic album for the state of the world that we live in. Give it a listen. And finally, we end things on a very different note with the band The Story So Far with I Want to Disappear. This came up this past Friday. I got the promo for it, which I was very shocked by. And while I do enjoy pop punk, it's not something that I'm very well versed in. But everything that I've ever heard from this band, I've thoroughly enjoyed. And I can say without a shadow of doubt, this is the best work that they've done so far. Whether they're doing some very fast discharge style D-beat, style pop punk, or they're doing some slower emotional stuff going on, it's got everything that I like about these pop punk bands. I can hear Descendants in this, I can hear Bad Religion in this, and of course their own influences. And again, I'm not very well versed in this, but all 28 minutes of this album just goes by so fast, and I love everything I'm hearing. They're not just trying to write radio hooks, they're trying to write an album, which is very commendable in 2024. What other pop punk bands do this in this style? Let's see if they can try to top this one. And there you go, folks. 13 brand new albums for Out Today and What I Missed for June 28th, 2024. So anyone keeping track? 13 albums today, 46 covered in June 2024, and 268 albums covered so far. If you feel like I've missed anything, go back and see if I've covered it before. But I'm always looking for other stuff, so let me know if I missed anything good. And of course, let me know if I have a good opinion, bad opinion, or if I just have a terrible taste in music. Let me know all that down below. In a couple days, make sure to check out my Everything I covered in June 2024 list, which will cover all 46 albums I covered in June 2024. And of course, come back a week from the day when I cover the first week of July for July 5th, 2024. And until then, for Heavy Debriefings, this is Josh Runquist saying, embrace the skillet.